All right, we'll start the next Mamer, the Mamer 14 from Shir Hashimim Mamer Mamer Kol Doidi. Kol Doidi hine zebo medalig alahori mekapetz alagbois. Doi medoidi litzvichu. So I hear the voice of my beloved. He's coming. He's jumping on the mountains. He's jumping on the hills. My beloved is compared to a deer chul. So he's going to explain from the Medrash that what does it mean? The Eibishter jumped. The Yidden were supposed to be in Mitzrayim for 400 years, and the Eibishter jumped over so that they didn't have to wait 400 years. And after 210 years, they went out of Mitzrayim. So that's called a jump. But he asks, why is there a change? The word medalig and the word mekapetz, they both essentially means jumping. So we have to understand the change of language in the pasuk. By the mountains, it says medalig. Medalig al-harim. And by the Gavois, it says mekapetz. So what's the nafkimina? This pasuk is said with regards to the exodus of Egypt. Shahoya ha'geula bediluk, the redemption came a jump. From 400 years, it went down to 210 years. Redu is 210. As in the Medrash Shir Hashimim, this pasuk is stated. To understand over all this, in the Haggadah we say, why are we eating this matzah? And we say this by the Seder in the Haggadah. So we're talking about the matzah that we're eating by the Seder. Why are we eating it? So the Baal Haggadah says, Al Sheim Shalei Hispik B'Tzekes Shalavisenu Lahachmitz, because the dough of our fathers did not get a chance to become chometz. Ad shenigla aleihem melech malcha amlocha HaKadosh Baruch Hu Geolam, until the king, the one who kings, revealed himself to them and redeemed them. So because they didn't have a chance for the matzah to become chometz, because they were freed of Mitzrayim, and therefore we eat this matzah. But that is a little bit surprising. This is not a sufficient reason. Inyan his galus zu, because the idea of this is galus. That took place after midnight. That is when the Eibishter revealed himself. Because Yitzias Mitzrayim was after Makkah's Bechoros. And Makkah's Bechoros was at midnight. And the Eibishter Hikov Hashem Hikov Bechoros Mitzrayim, so it was all after midnight. And Vachilas Matzah Shono Eichlim, the matzah that we eat, not only that we eat today, the same thing was at the time when they made the Pesach in Mitzrayim. Also, that needs to be dafke before midnight. So we eat the matzah before midnight dafke, and the miracle, what we're remembering, is after midnight. The reason is because we go like the Manda Omar, Ki Manda Omar, Sha Pesach Einoi Nechal Ela At Chatzois, that the Pesach can only be eaten till midnight, and the matzah comes along with the Pesach. Whenever you eat the matzah, Pesach, you eat the matzah. So if the Pesach is eaten only to Chatzos, that means the matzah is also eaten at Chatzos. By the Pesach, it says you eat the Korban Pesach together with matzah and the morer. So that means the matzah also has to be eaten only up to Chatzos. So here we're saying about the matzah that has to be eaten by Chatzos, that it commemorates the matzah, the fact that they didn't have a chance to become chometz, their matzah, Aviseinu, which took place after midnight. All right, so this is a few kashas in the pshat. Now he's going to go into the beer. Al pipnimi senor. Love in kolzeh, in order to understand all this. Hine Amr Razal, ad shele nivra olam hoyehu shmei bavad. Before the world was created, there was Hashem and his name. So we added, besides Hashem, there was also his name. What does it mean that there was Hashem's name? It was Hashem and his name. The vitality of all the worlds that comes from Hashem, blessed. Hashem vitalizes everything. How does that vitality, how does that chayis relate to Hashem? How does Hashem give that chayis? It says, it is only in a level that it's a light, an array, that alone from him, blessed. It's only a light, meaning it reflects of the Mimenu Yisbarech, but not that he works. He's not mamshich, but it's a reflection. That light that creates reflects of Hashem. Say, for example, Ziv Hashemesh, the ray of the sun, or Ziv Haner, or the ray of the candle. When you say a ray, it just shines. It does not touch, it does not affect the essence at all. The candle is not, the light is not concerned with its reflection. The sun is not concerned about its reflection. Whether there is a benefit from it. So to the sun, if there is clouds, and therefore the sun is not visible to the earth, or there is no sun, makes no difference. The sun shines. If there is no clouds, then the people on the earth will get it. If there is clouds, they won't say it. If the sun would have invested to shine, to do something, I want to give off, then it would make a difference. But in this case, a reflection. When we say, with regards to Hashem, that there is a reflection from Hashem, what it means to say is that it sort of comes automatically, not invested. It doesn't touch the atzmos. Varaya, the proof that the ray isn't connected to the essence, the proof for this is even if you have a curtain that interrupts, that doesn't allow for the sun to come through, in a case that rate cannot expand. Still, in the etzem, it makes no change. That means an oir. That's why we say the way the hamshachat, the chayis, is in a way of an oir viziv. Okay, lemailo, likewise above. Koyach eliki hamachaye kol oilamos nikra b'shem oir. The power, the godly force that vitalizes all the world is called with the name of oir, which means which does not affect his blessed essence at all. And it makes no change in Hashem, as the Pasuk says, Hashem have not changed. That is before the world and after the world, which means none of this that took place, that the Eibishter vitalized and created a world, created a change in Hashem, because the whole Chayis is not in an invested Chayis in the way of Oir. That level of Oir started saying, so this is also called a shame. The level of Oir, that reflection, that Oir Viziv, which is the koyach that vitalizes all the world, is called shame. Like we find in the Pasuk, it says, Yahalalu as Shem Chulu. Praise the name of Hashem. Why? What is it about a name? A name is not the essence of the person. If you don't have anybody that has a need to call you, then you don't need a name. A name, by definition, is sort of a handle that somebody should be able to get your attention, so they call you by your name. That means the name is an external part of you. It's not your essence. You don't need the name. Say, for example, a person when he is by himself, he doesn't need a name. If a name was negeya to the etzem, then he would need a name regardless. That was negeya to his soul, to his essence, that he needs a name. But by yourself, you don't need a name. It's only needed for somebody else to call him in his name. It does not touch, it's not connected to his essence at all. That's why we call that godly power, we call it the name of a shame. We call it a name. The power of the godly power, which vitalizes all the world, it's only in a level of a shame of a name. It does not connect, it's not important, it does not touch the essence at all. And the reason, because when we want to describe, and we say his name, because we want to describe a level of energy, a koyach, a level of power of Hashem that is not really affect Hashem. So that's why we call it a shame, just like a shame does not touch the person, the name of the thing. It's an external thing. Same thing is, this is only a shame. And also, Benikra Bechinas Melech. It's also called Melech, a king. The relationship from a king with his subjects, with the people of his city, is not like inner, a pneumistic relationship. It's like the reflection is like a name. The king has his name. The people of this country are under this king. It's his name, but he himself is not invested in it. The Eibishter's name, the Eibishter's chayis comes from the level of Hashem's being a king, from being Malchus. As for example, a melech al midinose, king over his country. She'ein atzmusei umehusei nitfas umispashed b'medina kula. It's not that his essence and who he is being caught up and expanded in the entire country. No, the king himself is not there. Rak shmoy levadei shenikra melech aleim. It's only his name. He's called a king over them. Likewise above. This, that godliness vitalizes all the worlds. Hurak b'chinas malchus. It's in a way, a level is only level malchus. Shabameh shehu melech aleihem the fact that Hashem is a king over them, that vitalizes them and that creates them. Which means only his blessed name is the power that creates. But Hashem's essence, his blessed essence, is not defined in this extension revelation. You were before the world was created. That's the version that we say in the davening. We say, Atahu at shaloi nivra ha'olam. You are the same before the world was created. Rebbe is going to say there's a different nusach. I think there's also the nusach today, which the Alter Rebbe fixed, and the Alter Rebbe Siddur used to be the nusach. You are acheloi barosa, created. Nivra is as if it was created by itself. Barosa represents an act of creation. That would mean an investment. Hashem invests to create it. But the truth of the matter is that it's only like a shame. It's only like a ha'ore. That's why the correct language is loi nivra. It wasn't created as if by itself. Hine, as it explains now. The Nuscha Yishoina, in the old version, Hoya Kosuv, it was written, Atahu Ad Shaloi Barosa. You are he before you created. The Atahu Nuscha, but now the language is Ad Shaloi Nivra. You are he until before it was created. So it's before it was created versus before you created. So the Alter Rebbe says, the main thing is actually like this language. Because this is actually the language that the Pasuk says, Ya'alelu Hashem, Yehud Siva v'nivro. He commanded and they were created. It doesn't say Yehu bara, but he commanded and they were created as if on their own. What is the difference? The difference between barasa and nivra is ki barasa mashma sha'atzmis nimshach gamkein b'bchina zu. When we say barasa, that has the meaning that you are creating, that the atzmus extends in this level. Say, for example, when a person reflects, thinks about, and looks into an item, so when the person, so even though he's using his power of thought, but his essence extends into that thought. He doesn't think something else. So that means is that you preoccupied, your essence is preoccupied in that thought, because at that point you're not thinking about anything else. So that means while you're using your thought, but you yourself are engaged and invested in that thought. But by Hashem blessed, it's not so. It does not touch, it doesn't care, it doesn't touch his essence at all. It only power comes by a mean of a ray and a shine alone. And therefore, it's as if it was born by itself. Why? It doesn't impact any change in this atzmus at all. When the person is thinking, he's invested in causes a change. The change is he has to only think this, nothing else. But when we talk about a reflection, like from the sun, the energy coming in a way of reflection, the sun isn't engaged. The atzmus isn't engaged in the creation. It's as if it's created by itself from the ray that comes off, that reflects of the essence of the Ein Sof. That's why this language is accurate. Before it was created, not before you created. As the Shalom wrote and writes in the introduction of Gimel Amud Beis. Just like the ray of the sun that comes from the sun, you can't say that the sun shines its shine. The sun doesn't shine its shine, it shines by itself. It is this ray comes automatically from the sun. And likewise above. This is the metaphor for above. When in his blessed will, may his name be blessed, went up in his will, when Hashem wanted to create the world, he separated and extended from the level of his blessed light something which does not touch, doesn't touch, it doesn't impact the essence at all. Like derech ziva ora ba'alma, only in a way of a ray and a shine alone. And that ray becomes the source of the vitality and the creation of all the worlds. Therefore, it is only as if he commanded and they were created automatically, because there's a ziva, not investment. There's no connection, no comparison, there's no relationship to Hashem. Can't say Hashem created. No. Hashem is not invested in that created. They were created through the shame, through the ray and the shine that comes from Hashem. So we have Malchuscha, your Malchus. That's the shame, that's the Ein Sof. That's the Oir Ein Sof. And then we have Malchus Kol Eilomim, the Oir that comes down into the world. Kiyesh Beis B'chines, there are two levels. What are the two levels? Hainu B'chinas Malchuscha, Ub'chinas Malchus Kol Eilomim. Two levels. Pirush Malchus Kol Eilomim. So what is Malchus Kol Eilomim? That's the level of the Oir that comes down in the world. Hainu Masha Mechaya Kol Elamim, that is what he vitalizes all the worlds. And with what does he vitalize? That's a Malchus of Elamim, that's only in a way of Malchus. The Yesh Kamo Oilamois Bia. And there is various worlds, which is Bria Yitzira Asiya. And those are all the Malchus, that's the Chayis that comes to each world. We're going to explain the four worlds of Bri Yitzira Asiya and how the Malchus is the Malchus Kol Elamim, that's the level of the Malach Kol Almim that vitalizes them, and the Oir in the level of Malchus of all the Olamis, in Bria Yitzira Asiya. Berosiv, Hainu B'chinas Bria. Berosiv is the level of Bria. Hainu B'chinas Hanashoma Shehema B'chinas Bria. That's the level of souls. Souls are in the level of Bria. Atzilus is separation. He's separated from himself, but it's not yet a creation. When you say creation, that means a new entity was created here. Ki Bria hu yesh ma'ayin mamish. When you say Bria, that means there is something that comes from nothing, actually. So there's something new that wasn't before. If you want to compare the thought and the speech, the thought, a new thought, that's like a creation. A thought comes something from ayin. Before the person thinks there was no letters, which means there was nothing there, nothing formed. And then in the level of machshava are the letters. Likewise, the Shamas Yisrael went up in Hashem's thought, so to speak. So, which means they are a new creation. That's what they call Bria. Yidden are machshava, a Bria, a new creation. There's a new thought over here. That's the level of Bria. Then you have Yitzartiv. Yitzartiv hu oilum hamalochim. That's the world of the angels. Shehema b'chinas Yitzira, they're at the level of Yitzira. Gehema b'chinas Dibur, they're like the Dibur. So before machshava, the neshama is machshava, they're Dibur. As we say, b'dvar havaya shomayim nasu, u'v'ruach piv chulu kol tzvam, meaning all the armies, all the malachim, they come from the level of Dibur. So over here, Bria is yesh me'ayin from Atzilus. But Yitzira from Bria is like Dibur from Machshava, which is not yesh me'ayin. And it's like the Dibur which extends from the thought. Over there, what the person thinks, that's what he speaks. So it's not a new, in the level of Machshava, there's a new letters formed over there. Over here, it's already continuing what he thinks is what he speaks. It's not something from nothing, but a yesh mi-yesh. What happens by machshava and dibur is rak mashahoyo mitchila behelem machshava, that which was in the beginning hid the thought, ba'atuhu begilu b'dibur, and now it's open in the dibur. Ve'eina rak b'chinas chomer v'tzura, it becomes like the material and the shape. That's called yitzira, the tzura. You have the shape, the material, then it's shaped. So in Bria, that's the material. Yitzira is the shape. That is the oil malach. Chomer hu ha'helem, koyach iyuli. Chomer material, that's the obscure, that's the power of potential. V'tzura hu agilui. And the form, that's the revelation of the potential power, which is in the Chomer, and Velochei Nikra, and that's why we call it B'Shem Yitzira Chulu, we call it Yitzira, because that is the formation, that is the shape. So that's Bria Yitzira. That's all with the Olam, with the light come down, the Malchus Kol Olamim, the different levels. Afasisif, Aynabichinas Olam Asiya. That's the world of Asiya, our world. Kechavim, Mazolis, the stars, the constellations. Cool. Bechol Ha'elomes Hanal, and all the above levels. The Barosi, Yitzarti, Vasisim, Bri, Yitzira, Asiya, Eino Mekabim Chayusom, Rak Mebchinas Shem Bilvad. And they only get their level from the level of shame. As the Pasuk says, Kol Hanikra Bishmi. They come, they are called by the name, they are the expansion of the name of Hashem. This is all Chinas Malchus Kol Olamim, Malchus Kol Malchus Kol Olamim. That's the Malchus of the world, of Bri Yitzira Asiya. Avol B'chinas Malchus Kol, La Malchus Kol, U'kamesh B'chinas Malchus U'botel B'atzmusay. That is like the level of Malchus is subjugated to the essence. That would be like the ray of the sun as it is included in the sun. Over there, the ray is not visible. But he is totally negated, subjugated in the essence. In this ball of the sun, there is a ray there, but there's no visible ray. The only place where we see the Eibishter's light and ray from the sun is only in the earth. Here we see the shine. But up there in the sun itself, you don't see a shine. Why? Because that's Malchus Chod, that's in the source. And this is what we said, that before the world was created, it was him and his name alone. What does it mean, the name? The name over there means it was bottled. That means that the Eibishter's name was included, that Oir was included, and it wasn't visible, it was included by Tzmusay. That was the Shemoy that was there. Shir Hashimim Mamer. So Gamkein Inyan Nikla Alehem Melech Malchei Amlochim Kodesh Baruch Hu. Also the two levels, just like we learned the level of your Malchuscha and Malchus Kol Olamim, this is also the two madregas of Melech and Malchei Amlochim Kodesh Baruch Hu. Melech, Ainu B'chinas Malchus Kol Olamim. That's the Malchus of all worlds. Shemechaya Kol Olamim Kinasi V'Shem Levad Chulu, which he vitalizes all the worlds in a level of a name, a ray, and a name alone. Ubchinas Melech Malchei Hamlochim, the level of Melech Malchei Hamlochim, and Ubchinas Malchusro K'mei Nichlal Ubchinas Atzmusay, and the level of Malchus, that's the level of Malchusro. The Melech Malchei Hamlochim, that's Malchusro, Malchus called the Malchusro. K'mei Nichlal the Ubchinas Atzmusay. Who Shmoy Levad, and who Shmoy was Levad. V'ayin bepartas be'erka kinuyim erech melech ayoser misyashav etzleinu chulu ayin shom, as he talks over there in the derech. And ayin shom v'zeh hoyo, that greater level of malchus nigla aleim oz Chinas Malchuscha Shalamayla Mishtalshalus. That was the level of Malchuscha, which is higher than Ishtalshalus. Shubichinas Muhusu Atzmusa Chulu, which is the level of the Muhus and the Atzmus of Hashem. So it means that we got that level of high level of Malchus. We got the higher than Ishtalshalus. That's Hashem's essence. So, and this is Ki Oz Hoya Yitzias Mitzrayim. That is what's the Exodus of Egypt. We got that revelation. What is the idea of Mitzrayim? That's a limitation, boundaries. For example, the physical world is limited. We say it's Mahalach Tov Kushana. You can walk it in 1,500 years. 500 years. Also, the world of angels is also Gvul. The armies, they bow to you, which means that means that they're an entity, and that's why they bow, they subjugate themselves, but they're a Gvul. Also, the world of Neshamas, the world of Bria, the Malachim we said before were Yitzira, they're also level of Gvul. He called Tzaddik, says that every Tzaddik would be burnt by the canopy of his friend. The Gemara says, means that each one has a canopy and each one has the level. So therefore, Haim Bechinas Gvul. So therefore, that means that there are a limit. Yesh Gvul Lahasagosam. And there is a limit, there is a boundary to how much they can grasp these tzaddikim and the neshamas. When they revealed to them the level of Melech Malcham Lochim, which is the level of Hu Shmei Bilvad, which is beyond the Shtalshel, in the level of Hashem's Mahus and Atzmus, that was when it was Exodus of Egypt, because at that point they went out from their limitation and they were merited to get the level of Hu Shmoi, the level of the Sevav Kul Almim, which is not limited to the limits defied the definition, the limitations of Malakul Almim. I Mashakosuf. Mitzrayim, Yitzias Mitzrayim, B'dibra Maschel B'chodesh HaShlishi, L'tzeis B'nei Yisrael Meretz Mitzrayim, B'dibra Maschel Ani Avai Lekechem, Sheretzeis Eschem Meretz Mitzrayim, and Soif Parshas Shlach. Okay, so